Dear students, welcome to Bosco Campus Vision, YouTube channel of Kottayam Don Bosco College. I am Raniyar, faculty member of Postgraduate Department of English. In this lecture series, I am dealing the paper Language Skills, which is a general English paper for first semester UG students of Kerala University. In this lecture, I am discussing the third module of language skills, and the third module is titled speaking skills. And here I am discussing a speaking activity in particular. It is a speech. So, delivering memorable speeches is a skill that can be practiced to perfection. So here I am giving you a short summary of a speech delivered by Steve Jobs as the commencement address to the graduates of Stanford University on June 12, 2005. First of all, let's check who Steve Jobs is. So Steve Jobs, his actual name is Stephen Paul Jobs. He is an American entrepreneur who is the co-founder of Apple Computer. He was the chairman and CEO of Apple Company and the major shareholder of Pixar. He was widely recognized as the pioneer of personal computer revolution of 1970s and 1980s. In 1985, he was forced out of Apple Company, and then at that time he started a new computer platform development company, Next. In 1997, Next was acquired by Apple, and again Steve Jobs became the CEO of Apple Company. And it was in the year 2013 he died of cancer. So as I mentioned, this speech was delivered at Stanford University in a graduation ceremony. And this speech is in a form of story narration. Through this speech, he shared his three major stories that happened in his life. The first story explains how his education developed in an old-fashioned way. And when coming to the second story, it's about love towards what he do. The third story is about death. When coming to the detailed summary of this particular speech, as I mentioned, the first story explains how his education developed in an old-fashioned way. So, the first story titled Connecting the Dots. In that story, he explained how his dropout from Reed College was one of the best decisions he made. So, in that speech, he is beginning the speech by telling the students of Stanford University that he was not a graduate. And he explains, he recollects one of the incidents in his childhood days. And when he completed his high secondary level, he went to his parents put in a college, and that college was a Reed College. But the learnings or the subjects which was intended to learn was not at all interested by this Steve Jobs. So naturally, he dropped out the college and he went outside for learning calligraphy. Calligraphy, as you know, it is the art of handwriting. And in addition to that reason, there was another reason which tend to drop out the college because it was an expensive college. And moreover, Steve didn't have any interest to continue his studies there. So naturally, he dropped out the college and went to learn calligraphy. And in calligraphy, he learned some of the typefaces. So I hope you know what is typefaces. For example, when you type something in your computer, there is a typeface called Times New Roman, then Arial Black. So likewise, he learned some of the typefaces. He liked typefaces, and that is why he liked publication of the Whole Earth Catalog. So during his days, there was a journal titled The Whole Earth Catalog. According to him, it was one of the Bibles of his generation, and it was all made with typewriters, scissors, and Polaroid cameras. So during his childhood days, especially when he was in the teenage, he was very much fond of the magazine called the Whole Earth Catalogue. And according to him, it is one of the Bibles of his generation. And it was all made with typewriters, scissors, Polaroid cameras. So from this incident itself, we can understand that how he was fond of this calligraphy, art of writing, and also typewriters. And that was the first story. In that first story, he explains how his education developed in an old-fashioned way. And then coming to the second story, Steve Jobs explained his expulsion from Apple company, and then after that incident, he started a new company under the name Next. And later, this Next was owned by Apple, and again this Steve Jobs became the CEO of that company. Initially, the Apple company was started by Steve Jobs, and after some years, he had selected one of the partners, and once his partner betrayed him, and that incident caused the expulsion of Steve Jobs from the company Apple. So the board of directors took a unanimous decision to send out this Steve Jobs out of the company, and thus he went out from the company Apple. And at that time, when he is on outside, he started a new company under the name Next. Later, Next was owned by Apple company, and Steve Jobs came back to Apple company, and later he became the CEO of Apple. So initially he was the CEO, and after the expulsion also, when he came back to the company, he again became the CEO. So that is explained in the second story. So the second story is about love towards what he do. So he advocates that you also should have love or passion towards what you do. And when coming to the third story, in the third story, he was diagnosed with a rare pancreatic cancer and the related issues. So it was initially he considered that cancer was incurable. So every day he lives by thinking about that was the last day in his life. But anyhow, he has a strong passion towards his work, and that motivated him when more thinking, and he had lesser time to achieve what he wanted. So the third story is about death, and towards the end of the speech, he advocates that stay hungry and stay foolish. It was actually a quote taken from the Whole Earth Catalogue, the journal. It was one of the journal in his teenage. So he concluded the speech by quoting that sentence, stay hungry and stay foolish. So that is about this speech Steve Jobs made at Stanford University as part of the graduation ceremony. So my dear students, with this I am concluding today's class. So here I am attaching some questions, comprehension question. Please go through the textbook, go through the summary, and please go through the original textbook and write down the assignments. Thank you. Have a nice time.